5 years ago, my next guest was a rising country star opening for artists like Luke Bryan and Zac Brown Band, then had a stroke and it nearly killed him, and it was on stage. Doctors said he might never walk again, but through faith and family, he's since rebuilt his life. He's even got a new album. It's called Low Country, High Road. Give it up for Drake White, y'all. I love your hat.
Good to meet you. Thank you.
I'm going to lead with that. So I'm going to get to the album in a minute, but I have to start with this. Before the stroke, I mean, your career was taking off. You're opening up for those huge artists like it was happening.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the same business, so you know, like, you just push and you grind, and, you know, being from Alabama and having that soulful thing and just being thankful to be in a position. I mean, I felt like we were kind of lifting off and we had a lot of great opportunities.
Yeah. So then you started getting headaches. Is that how it first started?
Yeah, I was about to get back out on the road with Zac Brown, and we had an Australia tour lined up, and just got a headache. I was working out really hard and staying in shape, and got a headache, and that headache landed me in a MRI. That MRI showed a mass about the size of a lime behind my right ear, and it was really scary. And that mass was what we call an AVM, an arterial venous malformation, which was a wad of veins and arteries that
a wad, like that's what you said.
Big wad of veins and arteries that I was born with, and yeah, and I didn't realize that I had it, and it was going to take like 7 or 8 embolizations to take care of it, but there was a way out. So
you're still performing, like while you're getting. You said it. They did it in like your vein, like they treated it that way because it's in your
an
head,
angiogram.
So. Okay.
They went through my femoral artery, and I thought, you know, I didn't have adequate blood flow to my brain, so I thought my optimistic attitude. I was like, well, maybe I can sing like, you know, Ray Charles when I do this, or maybe maybe something. I'm doing pretty good now. Maybe this will give me a leg up. So I just wanted to keep going, and so my question to everybody was like, could I keep performing? Doctor said, yes, we will perform these embolizations on Mondays. You can rest Tuesday and Wednesday. You can jump back out on the road on Thursday and Friday, and armed with your blood pressure medicine, you ought to be okay, man. So I was game. I was like, that's all I needed to hear. So I was ready to go. So it was going to take 8 of these embolizations because this AVM was massive, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're like on something, and then you just rest a couple days and you go back out there. That is insane. Yeah. But then it kind of everything came to a head on stage, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of like perform like the country Eddie Vedder. Like I love to jump around and just go nuts and or Joe Cocker or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know that stage performance, obviously your blood pressure's
your level of physicality, yeah.
Yeah, and so I took the stage in Roanoke, Virginia. It was kind of cotton candy skies, and it was about 100 degrees that day, so it was hot. And we jumped out there and just kind of tore into the performance. And, you know, I just felt something was kind of off, like I was dizzy. Mm-hmm. And then just kind of out of nowhere, I heard a loud pop in my right ear that just completely made my leg feel like it had a bowling ball on it and made my left arm go limp, and I couldn't remember what I was doing, and kind of the grass turned blue and the sky turned green. Everything flipped upside down.
You're on stage, like everyone's looking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
It was terrifying, and honestly, I knew immediately, like, oh man, I'm having a stroke. Like this is what's happening. This thing's ruptured. I kind of start to stagger, and they catch me, pull me off stage, and I'm 3 minutes away from a trauma 1 level hospital. So they got it stopped bleeding within my.
That's kind of incredible. That you're
it's
that
a miracle.
Close. Yeah.
It's an absolute miracle from God. You know. And
so you barely survived that.
Yeah, I would say that was just, you know, on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being death. I mean, I was right at 8.5. You know, for sure. It was a bang bang play from them to get me in, and this hospital really did some you know, pretty miraculous things to get it to stop. You know? So thank God for that, but it did paralyze my left side and left me in a place where, I couldn't walk. So
That's terrifying.
yeah.
Joining us now is his amazing wife, Alex. Give it up for Alex. She was there for every step of his recovery. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
How did you learn that? What was that terrifying call like?
So I was back home in Nashville, one of the only surgeries he had that I didn't actually follow him on the road and go with him and tag along. So I got a phone call from his tour manager, and I knew it was showtime. So instantly, gut reaction, something's wrong. So answered the phone, and he said, "Hey, do you happen to have Drake's doctor's number?" And I was in the car, and I knew something was wrong, and I just headed north.
Yeah.
And knew I've got to get to Roanoke, Virginia. So I kind of had this in the back of my head, it could potentially happen,
Yeah.
and
And you're there, and it's already hard enough in the hospital going through all that, but recovery, what was that like?
yeah, so it was a long recovery, 30 days in inpatient, but it was a challenge. I mean, I had to drop everything. We had just started a new business and just put it all to the side and focus on him. So, yeah. It was scary to have, this strong husband who does it all of a sudden be.
And then you feel helpless because you're like,
Yeah.
how can I, but you know that he wants to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just, just went into go mode and fix it mode, and how can we, keep going here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was recovery like for you?
It was brutal. I mean, we just, when you have a shock like that to your nervous system, you go into, this mode of, protection. Your body's trying to protect itself. And so it was just excruciating, but it was kind of learning how to walk again and learning how to kind of function.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the middle of all of that, then you have a health scare.
Yeah, so, I feel like as the caregiver, you neglect yourself a lot. I think through that, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and a rare autoimmune disorder, and I stopped taking care of myself, and so my health started to decline. And we were dealing with infertility prior to, his stroke, trying to have children, and then just put that on a shelf too when he got so sick. And then all of a sudden I'm sick, so now we're putting that on the shelf even longer. So, it just seemed like it was one thing after another, after another.
Oh my God, emotionally and mentally exhausted. Like I have no idea how you two are still sitting here together. Like that's a lot on a relationship and on your own hearts, individually.
And we have to understand that's 19, August of 19 is when the stroke happened. Then I get back and she teaches me how to walk again, and we get back on our feet, and the pandemic hits. And so financially,
2020 was a rough year.
And then she has these health scares. So it was like 3 back to back to back. So it's us looking up at the sky going, what in the world?
Yeah. Any help will do. Yeah. Your prayers, though, they did work, right? That's what you say, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, there's no doubt that without my faith and Alex's faith of coming into just no matter where you stand on this issue, I watched prayer work. I watched angels in the corner of the room. I saw them in the hospital. And during that near-death experience, felt that presence of her praying for angels to come take care of me and guide the doctor's hands and all that. So I've seen it and I've felt it, and there's just no doubt in my mind the reality of it. I mean, it's right there.
Oh my gosh, that's so intense. So what about little baby? What happened with
Yeah,
that?
so
I love this story. It's so cute.
Okay, so we went through IVF to have our miracle baby, Hawk. His name is Hawk, like the bird. And you know so much with IVF.
Yeah.
You know there he is. You know so many details. He's the sweetest, squishiest thing.
And the golden retriever.
Yeah. And so, we're in the delivery room, and the nurse said, "Okay, Dad, who's going to tell her? Is it a boy or girl?" And he said, "Oh, I'm telling her. I'm telling her if it's a boy or girl." So they put the baby on my chest, and he goes, "It's a baby Hawk." And he couldn't say,
because you decided that
boy.
if you were going to have a boy, you were going to name it Hawk, right?
Yes.
I love that. I love that you got so tied up in the moment there. You were like, it's a baby Hawk. It's like,
I mean,
that is, and you know what I'm saying? I can only imagine just listening to y'all. You needed the win.
You needed the win.
You need a win at some point. You can only take so much, beating down on you to where you're like, okay, I could take some green grass at any moment now. Congratulations
Thanks.
on your little one.
Thank you.
Just on finding each other. Life is hard enough. Relationships are hard enough. Having a relationship in this industry is hard enough. All of it is hard enough. And the fact that you two are just sitting here together and smiling and hopeful and still talking about how prayer works is a beautiful thing.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, yes. So let's talk about the new album because, well, I like talking about music.
For sure.
So it's called Low Country High Road, right?
Low Country High Road. Just, you know, we've been through the Low Country. I love shrimp. I love shrimp bowls. I'm from Alabama, so that Alabama kind of Muscle Shoals meets Memphis.
Soulful.
You know, meets New Orleans. That's where I live. That's where I love to make that music. And so we made this record just out of all of that. I love the fact that I had the muse now, and that's what to heal from something like that. Anybody that's going through something out there, you know, you have to find something to look forward to. You have to find that hope and grab a hold of it.
That light.
And so music was that for me. Music and the golden retriever and the little boy. That's what this record's about. You know, it's about faith and fuel and freedom and just being optimistic and kind of looking at hardship as a catapult into, you know,
Something
having a good story to
bigger,
tell.
Yeah, and hope. Who doesn't need that? So, okay, Low Country High Road is the new album from Drake White, and it's out now.